What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in this video today, we're going to go ahead and have a look at the regular 10-star difficulty of the brand new KIZUNA Clash versus Gold Roger. I will be uploading another video very soon with my Super Boss teams currently versus Goldie Roger, and definitely look forward to that because the damage that you see from him is kind of crazy. But anyways, as we said, we're talking about this one right here, as we're going to be just going through this one first because this is the one where a lot of people are going to be spending most of their time in the KIZUNA. This is where you can farm those Super Boss coins to then take on the Super Boss itself. And of course, if you go over to the exchange, you can see some of the things that you can go ahead and pick up. Of course, from boxes 2 to 6, you can actually pick up the Super Evolution skulls for the brand new V2 Akainu, which is super awesome. And you can also pick up dupe copies of Gold Roger. Now, do note that in boxes 2 to 6, or at least 2 to 5, should I say, there are multiple copies of Roger you can get in those boxes. I would advise pick up all copies of Roger along the way. You can only get them in the actual treasure list that we've seen thus far. We don't know if you can actually drop them in the event, so I would just suggest to pick up all the Roger copies possible. We can actually go ahead and talk about the Goldie Roger character real quick. I don't have the Super Evolution skulls quite yet. I have one from the event itself, but here is the Goldie Roger character that everyone is farming for, and of course he does Super Evolve. We'll talk about his Super Evolution likely in the Super Boss video, but this character, Dex / a Free Spirit, 4x captain to those two classes, 1.2 health, and also makes Strength Dex quick matching to those units as well. Actually a pretty solid free-to-play captain, and then he also has Super Class as a captain where you need like very specific units, very similar to the original Roger where you need like an Ace, you can use Odin, you can use Whitebeard, and just other crewmates of course, and then it will lock your crew slots for one turn and give you a 1.75 times attack boost to your entire team, and then get Free Spirit changed into Super Free Spirit, which is really nice. And then the special ability will reduce bind by 2, reduces defense up and resilience by 2, and gives your Slasher and Free Spirit 500 base attack for 2 turns and 50% damage reduction for 1 turn. And if you have an attack boost when you launch the special, he extends the duration of the base attack boost by that 1 turn. So if you've got base attack, he increases it by 1, which is actually really nice. And he actually does have double special activation. That's really interesting. He does have final tap as well, giving you 500 additional attack when he attacks, which does stack with other base attack boosts, which is pretty nice. And a very easy requirement, just having a tandem or a matching slot on this unit will provide you with the final tap effect. So overall, I mean, the Roger, he's not the most broken unit ever, but that captain ability is awesome. He's got super class, final tap. As a free-to-play unit, there's not really much else you can ask for, but without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the actual breakdown of the regular 10-star difficulty KIZUNA versus Roger. So first thing is first, we're going to start things off with the free-to-play teams. Of course, you can go down below in the video description. You can see all of the timestamps for all of these teams that you see in the video along the way. So first of which is going to be the versus quick team. So all of these teams are going to start with quick, and then the Dex, and then the int team for all of these blocks. So we have free-to-play teams, we have one with just other units, well, it is more of the anniversary units of course, and then we have one team versus all for those people that are interested in that. So, with the way that this team is working, of course, we need to get around a couple of different debuffs. Of course, there is a lot of despair here on Battle 2 of the quick fight, and we're using Buggy to actually get rid of that. And then we can also use the Koala special, which gives us an attack boost to our Free Spirit characters on activation. And then also on the following turn, we actually will get another attack boost for our Free Spirit characters. I believe it's a 2x boost on the following turn. And then of course we have just all these other special abilities in order to get through it. Now I would probably advise to switch out Luffy Ace for something else, because you have no unit that can proc the super type special of the Luffy, and you kind of need that when you get to past level 30. So if you do, you will need to kind of replace a couple of units there. Well, at least just you need to have some type of Straw Hat in order to activate Luffy's super class special, which is pretty important. Other than that, this team is going to work fine for a pretty good duration of time. Moving on now to the secondary team of the video. Now this team actually has a pretty glaring issue, and it's the fact that Carrot doesn't actually receive the cooldown. So a little bit of an error on my part. But of course, if you are able to switch that out with someone, it is going to be definitely more ideal. The reason why Carrot is here, though, is because of the supports that you guys would have seen at the start of the video. We have the Frenoske support, which attaches to the Nami and Robin, and then we also have the free-to-play Strength Pedro, which does attach to Carrot. And the reason why we have that is because when we have those two supports of Frenoske and Pedro, as well as the special ability of Whitebeard, we can actually remove 11 turns of attack down, if I remember correctly, or it's like exactly like 10 turns of attack down we can remove, because that's how much that is given to us on battle 3 after level 30. Post level 30, when the gimmicks change, you get given a lot of attack down, so those supports are actually going to be kind of necessary. Another way around it is that you could just use some type of attack down remover and then use the friend captain of Hancock, Nami, and Robin. That is a more accessible way to do it, though using Whitebeard is probably more ideal, as he's effective, giving you more boss tokens and also more tickets for the KIZUNA. Generally speaking, is going to help you out in the long run, but if you are really struggling to kill the fight, obviously you can take on the lower difficulties, which will be easier, or utilizing the waifus as the friend captain instead. Also, make sure to use ulti on battle 2. That was a bit of an error on my behalf because there's no color affinity on this stage. Use ulti on the previous stage. And then we move on to the final team of the free-to-play section, which is going to be the 1 versus Int. And this team is incredible. I probably wouldn't change it in almost any way. We have a way to get around all of the debuffs. Friend Captain Whitebeard is very necessary for this team, especially post-level 30 when you have to deal with these really pesky debuffs. Actually, necessarily, I don't think you actually need it. No, actually, you actually don't need Whitebeard now that I'm thinking about it, because the threshold is removed by Zoro. We have the resilience removed by Basil Hawkins. The special bind is removed on battle 2 by the Sanji and the Nami dual unit from Treasure Map. They also provide an orb boost to fighter and free spirit characters, so trying to get some matching slots on the stage prior before you enter this stage is going to be really good, and it'll give you a lot more damage to kill the final stage. And then we've also got Sabo, which gives us color affinity. He also treats all type slots as matching for our units, which is kind of nice. And also Shanks gives us a chain boost, and you know, Zoro gives us an orb boost and an attack boost on the final stage. This team actually is really good for a free-to-play team, and of course if you got some of the other boosted units on the list, you can definitely use those instead, as they will, you know, potentially give you more damage because of stat boost due to the event. But it just depends on what you have in your character box, but this is a pretty decent free-to-play team actually to take on this quest. So now the next set of teams is just for people out there that really just want to go ultra hard on these quests, just to make it super easy for yourself, as all of these teams are going to be utilizing some relatively pay-to-win characters, such as, you know, the anniversary units. This team specifically has all of them, which is kind of nuts, but that's the thing, is that these KIZUNA in particular is so built for the anniversary batch, it's crazy. I don't remember a KIZUNA boss that was built in such a way where the anniversary, or just the batch in general, is like so good for the content. We haven't seen anything like it in a really long time. So, of course, the new batch is going to be perfect. You have double Luffy, one for stage 2, one for stage 3, or you could run a different strategy of having Odin, the free-to-play Odin on your team, and using his special with Luffy to extend the duration of the orb boost so you can carry it into the final boss room. That is also a strategy that you can employ. If you don't have your own Luffy, you can have Luffy friend captain, Odin sub, extend the duration of it, and then like Ace Yamato captain, or you can even use waifu captain to a certain extent as well. That would probably work pretty decently. And of course we have the Sanji and Zoro rare recruits, which help us get around a lot of the the debuffs, the support. I don't remember if there are any key supports on this team. There might be actually, especially post level 30. There's just lots of really pesky effects that will be happening. And then Ace and Yamato, of course, with their super switch, they'll actually get the guaranteed conditional against the boss, which is so good. The Legend Kaido, which we'll talk about in just a moment, also can do that. But, you know, obviously, if you want to run a team like this, you can definitely do it. You're not going to have any problems throughout this KIZUNA. Moving on to the second team here of just the other teams, and yeah, of course, we're going to run just the full batch once again with the Kaido batch this time rather than the Luffy batch, and this team just does so much damage, dude. And of course, with Kaido, when you have a Wano slot, you get the guaranteed increased damage taken on the enemy. You can get access to the Super Tandem mechanic, which hits incredibly hard. You've got color affinity with Hancock, Nami, Robin. All of the rare recruits and the legends get around all the gimmicks that you could possibly want to get around in this quest. I think there might be a couple of key supports once again that help you get around the stuff. Don't think that is really the case here though, because you know, King, Queen, Jack all have really useful effects here, really good utility plus damage boosting effects, so they all help in the grand scheme of things with giving you a lot of damage to get through the fight. Of course, in this team we don't have Ace and Yamato as a sub, but you can definitely use them if you want in order to get, you know, a much more significant attack boost. But of course, we're just using the rare recruits just to make it easy, of course. But you know, Ace and Yamato are another really solid option that you can use if you have them and you don't have some of these other legends. You can definitely do that. But definitely with the waifus, they help out a lot in this quest, as there is a lot of attack down that happens here. Post level 30, I believe it becomes 10 turns of attack down. So by using the special of the waifus, they get rid of 8 turns of attack down. I believe King also removes an additional set of attack down as well. So that's why all of these rare recruits plus Hancock, Nami, Robin plus Kaido all work well together to get the job done. And then we can have a look at the Int team. Now, this team is a little wacky. I'm not really too sure if this is a team that I would be actively using, you know, too much, but it is able to get it done, which is kind of nice. So the really pesky thing about the versus Int fight is that there is actually a little bit of a bug that a lot of people have noticed, in that they did mention in the infographic that characters that are Dex and Psi will get cooldown reduction, but also the super switch of characters will get their cooldown reduced as well. However, that is not the case. As you can see, Roger and Newgate don't have their super switch maxed out here when they really should, same as Luffy and the Straw Hats. If you use Ace and Yamato on this team as well, it also does not reduce their super swap. So I think it is a little bit of a bug on this team here, so do keep that in mind. But even with the bug, this team is still doing exactly what it aimed to do in the first place due to the Ivankov that we have. Ivankov's really great because we get rid of the special bind on the final stage. We have the support of Bon Clay, which gets rid of some turns of damage threshold, because post level 30 it becomes 6 turns of damage threshold, so that with Rayleigh removes all of that damage threshold. And then also it changes badly matching slots into matching, which allows us to get the full board of slots, which then we can use Yamato special to change those matching slots into Wano. We have the special ability of Roger and Newgate along with their switch to get the 3 times attack, 3 times orb boost, 2.5 color affinity, just all the stuff that you could possibly want. And there is resilience as well, and the way that we're getting around resilience is by using the final tap of Luffy and the Straw Hats, as the damage that it does from the final tap does bypass resilience, which is just stupid. It's like one of the most broken mechanics in the entire game, but a really fun team nonetheless to get the job done versus Roger.
だから僕はこの国を開国するんだ。行くぞ、野郎ども。よし。
Alright, so now we get to the last set of teams of the video, and this is one team versus all, with no changes to the captain, no changes to the supports, no changes to the positioning of characters. This is the exact same team versus all three variations. One thing I do want to note though, is that this does work with a friend captain KIZUNA Whitebeard, so you can use it to get more tickets and you can use it to get more super boss tokens. So if you want to go down that route, which is what I'm doing, definitely do it. If you run out of Whitebeards, you can resort to using Kaido instead, which are probably going to be more accessible and easier to find, that is. Also, big shout out to my girl Karissa, because she was the person who actually came up with this team idea, so shout out to her. I was actually kind of struggling to put a team together with one team versus all, and she's like, hey, I got this. So it works fine, and we tested it out on stream, and it works as good as I wanted it to. So this is definitely going to be my farming team for this regular KIZUNA, as you're able to use Whitebeard as a friend captain, you don't have to change anything around, and it just works perfectly. So I'm not really going to be talking throughout the entire duration of this part of the video, because as I said, it is the exact same team through each of these fights here, and you guys already know how these fights work at the moment. And as I said, Whitebeard is probably the more desirable friend captain to be using in this team, but if you don't have any Whitebeards, then Kaido will also work just as fine. But that is going to just about wrap up this video from me. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all of the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.
下がって
行くぞ。
勝ったやつが大きく近づく。